Now the next step is to take a screenshot or a snapshot of this arrangement, and then what we're going to do is take it into Photoshop to produce our texture. So I'll select the UVs. So right click, select all the UVs, go to the polygons menu in the UV texture editor, go down, right down to the bottom to UV snapshot, because I've set the project that's going to create the image or the JPEG that I'm going to make in a sec in that folder in the images. And it's going to be called Out UV, although I could probably change that name. Doesn't really matter. JPEG is fine. Size, that will do for now. I'll just go OK, and that should have created that JPEG in the images folder. You can see it down here, Suspiria Images on the desktop. Okay, so here we are in Photoshop. I've just loaded that JPEG that I created with the as a snapshot, and now we're in Photoshop. Again, by default, it creates white outline over a black background. It's up to you, it doesn't really matter what it is, but I sort of like to have black on white. So I'll just invert that. Okay, so now I can start painting up my texture. So I'll begin this, and then rather than going through the whole thing, I'll take a bit of a break, and then I'll get back and show you what the final thing looks like. But for the time being, I'll fiddle around a little bit. So maybe I can have it a yellow color. Now, because I'm going to fill that with yellow, and I'd still want to have a sense of where those outlines are of the car, what I might do, first I'll change the background layer into a normal layer, and then select the white areas and delete. It's left the black outline. So now, utilizing layers, I'll just create a new layer. I can start creating my texture. So layer 0, make a selection, there, there, there. To begin with, that'll do. Edit fill with the foreground color. There we go, yellow. I'll move this outline layer to the top. So there we go, we can see it, and then we can sort of get rid of that outline layer at the end. Okay, so what I might do now is do something. You know, I'll only spend another minute or so doing this, but I might have this in a separate layer, layer 2. I might fill with grey initially, 50% grey, and what I might do is darken it perhaps. Again, you'll find there'll be a lot of toing and froing with the texture, so you get up to a certain stage and you think, you know, oh look, I really don't like it, I'll go back and fix it up. So it's like a painting, you sort of block in the colors, and then as you progress, you you change things around until you get what you need to. So I'll take a break now to finish this texture off, and then we'll come back and hopefully we have an appropriately finished texture. Okay, so here's my texture coming along from where it began. So you can clearly see how I've built up, painted up the areas according to the map provided by the UV map. So what I'm going to do in a minute is take it into Maya and load it up onto that object. Now I still might want to continue working on it once I put it on the object, on the car. But once I've got it on there, then I can always come back into Photoshop and keep working on it and updating it. Okay, now if I go to the Hypershade, I can set up my little material and associated texture. So I think I might have, instead of a Lambert, I'll have a blend because I want it to be potentially a little bit shinier, perhaps, and a bit reflective. So I'll put a blend. Now I'll go to 2D textures and select the file utility. Just put everything in a straight line to make it all neat. Now I'll double click the file icon, go to the attributes with the little yellow folder next to image name, select that, browse. Okay, so there's the texture loaded up in the little preview in the file utility. Now I'll drag it onto the material, and just to double check that hardware texturing is on so I can actually see the textures in the map view, I'll middle click and drag, and goodness gracious, something's gone wrong. Oh, I forgot to do the windscreens. That's alright, that's fine, at least you can get a sense of what it's looking like. Okay, so what I might do is go to vertex, because that wheel now is part of the same body as the car, the same object as the car, so it can be part of the same UV map. So I'll just simply select the vertices of that wheel and just move it into place.